You know what? As we're on the topic of Galway, I was just kind of thinking a little bit more about that situation over the weekend, and along with Westmeath, and there's a couple of people in line for the Westmeath managerial job. Kevin O'Brien is one from Clonkill. Ryan O'Dwyer of Tipperary is another guy who's been spoken to. I think they're talking to one or two more, but we'll see in the next week or two who's going to be interviewed there. Now, this has all been done in the modern approach from most counties, where rather than going to clubs and asking them to nominate people, they just kind of go behind closed doors, call people up, text them up, have a meeting, decide and try and decide behind closed doors who's going to be the manager. And, you know, we've seen a lot of that over the closed season because there's been so many jobs that have changed hands in the last few months. But with Galway, they do maintain that situation whereby they ask the clubs, can you come forward with recommendations? Someone is proposed for the job. Then there's a management committee or an interview committee set up to talk to all these candidates, and then they come out with someone. And that's what happened with Shane O'Neill a couple of years ago, and happened Micheal Donoghue and everyone before that. So if Micheal Donoghue is going to become manager of Galway, again, just as an example, he will have to be proposed by a club. Then we'll see the interview committee. So it's going to be weeks. Like, it would take a process. It will be at least in October before Galway have a manager. But it's not like it can be just done behind closed doors. Quick little phone call to Donoghue. Look, are you interested? Okay, let's go. Now, obviously, they can do that and make sure that, for example, Clare and Bridge do propose him. But it's not like this can be done quite easily, which means that it's an awkward public situation whereby everyone in the country will know Donoghue has been proposed and is therefore interested before anything happens. It's a bit of an archaic system, isn't it?
It's a very long-winded way of winding up with a manager. Like, the thing is now, and you would see it within a lot of club setups in the country, if you have a good executive and people that really know how to go about their business quite prudently, they will just kind of they will go to whoever they think should be the senior hurling manager or the senior football manager or the intermediate manager, whatever. They'll obviously seek opinions off other people as well. But if you have the right people in place, they're generally able to, they know who to approach. They'll seek some counsel from people about who they should approach, and they'll go after X, Y, or Z, and they'll get them. Whereas this is a very, like, you could have, I remember when Micheal Donoghue went for the job, I think Johnny Kelly was mentioned, Justin Campbell was mentioned, Jerry McInerney was mentioned. They were all actually in the pot at different stages. And it's a bit of it is a bit of an awkward one as well, from the point of view, like if Donoghue is interested, it's Donoghue's job, but they have to go through all the various red tape to get in that job. So, and that, there's potential sticking points during that process as well. Like, for an All-Ireland winning manager, if he wants the job again, it should be just a matter of, you know, here you go, pick up from what you did before. But it's not like, there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through now almost as well. It does seem a bit archaic, to be honest with you. It's probably the best word to describe it.
But is it fair, the flip side then, let's say somebody else has done a lot of really good work in the last couple of years, maybe with a club or whatever, and then you're like, it's just Donoghue's, he should get it. Should there not be a democratic process rather than, you know, some counties it'll be jobs for the boys. I'm not saying with the Donoghue Galway situation, but, you know, I mean, maybe there should be democracy.
Yeah, it's an awkward one. It kind of can be hard to be transparent in these situations because. Sorry, I just see this Adrian McGrath post who says, I love tagging Stapleton when Tipper in a heap. Does that count? No, Adrian.
Yeah, bullying Adrian.
That's beautiful, and we all love to see it. But yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry, Adrian's after interrupting my train of thought there.
Well, I was talking about the democratic process, whether it should be democratic or just a little, you know, behind closed doors phone call.
It's kind of a tricky one. Like, if you want to get stuff done, sometimes behind closed doors and that phone call, that's how you get things done quickly, and you maybe get who the majority want. When you go through the democratic process, sometimes you might not, like, sometimes democracy doesn't work, and we've seen that, and modern history will tell you that as well. And sometimes people will be put off by a process as well, and will be put off by having their name in the media that they're in the pipeline for this job and whatever, and different, you know, jigs and reels of it. So I don't know. I think if you trust the people involved, I'd be happy as long as you have the right people involved at board level, be it county level or club level. I'd be happy to trust them that they'll make the right decision. But on the flip side of that, we probably all have evidence of when maybe the wrong people have been in place in various clubs and counties, and maybe the best person for the job hasn't been approached, or not the best person for the job hasn't been approached in the right way, and they end up spurning the opportunity to get someone, whoever the best person is.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because, we live in a democracy, and, the way Galway GA has been run, that's got very democratic sort of traits. But then in the business world, it's capitalism. So there's one person at the top, or there's shareholders. So it's obviously like a pyramid up at the top. They're making all the decisions for everybody underneath. So it kind of works. You've got this world whereby maybe the capitalist model of somebody at the top who's the right decision maker. Do you know the way John Costello is the CEO, and obviously there's democracy within Dublin and GA, but John Costello is the CEO, and it almost feels sometimes as if he makes the decisions from the top down for the betterment of Dublin GA. And like, whether that's true or not, the whole point in making is it's a bit more of a capitalist model, unlike the democracy where, it starts from the bottom up. And I just wonder sometimes which is better in the GA world. And this is exactly the point we're kind of making here. But because they're all these intercounty teams are multi-million euro industries, you need to have unbelievably qualified people at the top, and especially if you're going to do it in that sort of capitalist sort of way of just.
I'll put you this way, Shane. I would be more than happy, within the Offaly County Board, for them to go and approach who they feel are the best people. Currently, 3 or 4 years ago, I would have not had faith in Offaly County Board to go and attract the right people, and history would suggest that, generally, with the amount of moving and shaking we had with managers and different things that went on, that lack of trust was not repaid. But you know what I mean? The lack of trust I had in those personnel to make those decisions would have been correct. Whereas now, so a lot of it is to do with who you have at the helm and how much you trust the decisions that they make. Like, a lot of the time with the really good leaders, like, the decision is just made. They've already attracted the right person, and it's just signed, sealed, and delivered, and you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, just a reminder, we are brought to you by ogreretro.com. Use the promo code OurGame, you get 15% off. Please do subscribe to the channel on all the platforms, and if you're watching on YouTube, hit the button in the bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Really helps the channel because it gets recommended to others. And also, if you want the audio podcast, a good way to support the channel is patreon.com/OurGame. A $5 a month really does help the channel kick on to the next level.
Just a quick one, Shane, right? So when Jim Gavin resigned, I'd love to know the ins and outs of Desi was in very quickly after. It was a matter of weeks by the time he was the new Dublin manager. I have a fair idea how I think. Like, I don't think they went and asked 10 or 15 different people. Like, that's my own personal opinion. And to me, that's the right way to go about it. You're getting a new manager in situ. I think you're getting the best the best replacement in situ. Whereas you could be waiting, 6 weeks to 2 months to go through a rigorous process to get and you might end up with the best person in place if you go by the book. And sometimes going by the book is just not the right way to do things. As well as anybody that the best way to do things is just sometimes not the way you're supposed to do things. Sometimes you just have to get things done.
Yeah, but that all is contingent on the right person being at the top of the tree doing it for you. Any chance Liam Sheedy gets the Galway job, says Kieran A. Smith? Not in a month of Sundays, I'd imagine. I neither think Liam would want the Galway job as much and all as he'd respect the position and of Galway GAA and the fact that they're an excellent county. But I just couldn't see it happening in any direction.
No.
We'll leave it at that.
I don't see him. Like, he got involved in Antrim because it was so alien to Tip almost and so far away. But I don't see him getting involved. Bar getting involved with a weaker county in coaching or advisory capacity. I wouldn't see him get involved in any team that will ever come in competition with Tip.
If you enjoyed this piece of content, please follow us on YouTube by hitting the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner of the page, which helps the channel grow. And if you want audio podcasts, go to patreon.com/OurGame.